Hello and welcome back to Mr. Adelman's fantastic math class. Today we're going to continue talking about angle relationships, and we're going to talk about perpendicular lines, or the angles that are formed by perpendicular lines. So perpendicular lines are when you have two lines that intersect, and there are a couple properties that happen there. So we have lines that intersect to form four right angles. So each angle here is 90 degrees. The intersecting lines form adjacent angles. So notice that we have a vertex, and they each, so let's call that E. So AEB and BED, those are adjacent. They share a side and they share a vertex. And just something you should know: segments and rays can be perpendicular to lines, segments, or rays. So you don't need just lines; they can be rays or even segments. And finally, we use, when they have perpendicular lines, we don't write that they're 90 degrees in all four boxes. All we do is, in one of the boxes, you're going to put a right angle symbol, and that's going to indicate that those two lines form perpendicular lines. So let's talk a little about how we write down that these lines are perpendicular. So the way we say this is that, well, we would say that angle, let me get a good color here. We would say that line AD, so if we're looking at this is line AD, and we're going to put the line symbol over there, and the perpendicular symbol looks like an upside down capital T. So AD is perpendicular to BC. That's the way you would say that. So AD is perpendicular to BC. And so this does come in handy. I have a little example for us here that we can check out. All right, so this is two different cases that you may see throughout your time in this class. So it tells us that FJ, so this line right here, is perpendicular to GK, so right there. So there are two things that we could do. First one is to find X. So if I look here, I see that this angle here, G, let's call that point L. So GLH and HLJ, those are, they look like they are adjacent angles, and they're in these perpendicular lines. So because they're in these perpendicular lines, I know that this is a right angle. And so because that's a right angle, I know that angle GLH is complementary to angle HLJ. And hopefully you remember what complementary means. It means that if you add those two up, then it's going to equal 90 degrees. So I know that 5x plus 4x is going to equal 90 degrees. So combine like terms, 5x plus 4x is 9x equals 90. Divide both sides by 9, and so x equals 10. So because we have two angles that equal 90 degrees, and we know that they're 90 degrees because we have perpendicular lines, then we can just add the two up and have it equal 90. So the second one is I just have one angle that equals, that is the measure of this angle right there. And so we know, because these are perpendicular lines, that to find y, all I need to do is I need to set this statement up to equal 90. So I know that 4y minus 10 equals 90. So I'd add 10 to both sides. So 4y equals 100. And so y equals 25. So that's how we'll use things like perpendicular lines to help us solve some questions. So that's all we have for today. If you have any questions or concerns, please feel free to ask me in class or on my blog. And that's all we have for today. So take care of yourself, and I hope you have the best day you've ever had in your whole life. Thank you very much. Goodbye.